The role of the legs, and specifically the knees within the golf swing, gets very little attention compared to when discussing how the upper body works. But the function of the knees affects what goes on above it, namely the hips, the torso, and the shoulders. So today I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you need to be changing your knee flex and the benefits that come from doing so. So the role of the legs and the knees is super important in building a repeatable, consistent swing. I often get comments on my swings I post both on YouTube and on social media about the effortless nature of the swing, and that comes from moving your body in a way that allows you to be effortless. It takes the strain and the stress off your body, and the way that you move your legs doesn't just improve the functionality and the mechanics of your golf swing, it's also better for your body. I want to begin by discussing the concept of turn in the golf swing. I think most of us watching would have some understanding that we're supposed to turn our body. That's often described as turning the upper body or the shoulders 90 degrees from where they start their journey. I'm going to sit down on this stool. I'm going to ask you to do the same if you're able to, if you're sat down watching this video, and just push yourself back into the seat or the chair that you're sitting in and try and turn your shoulders as far as you can. So I'm going to start to rotate as if I was making a backswing. And what I'll get there is approximately 30 degrees of shoulder turn. You may get slightly more, you may get slightly less. The fact remains that normal range of motion is around about 30 degrees of rotation just in the thorax, the torso itself. So where is that extra 60 degrees of turn coming from? You've guessed it, it's coming from lower down, specifically the knees to begin with, and then the hips before reaching the top of the turn. So we're going to start by turning our feet out, and this is reason number 1 to change your knee flex. It allows your hips to turn, which by definition allows your shoulders to turn. So as we set up to the golf ball, we turn our feet out, we turn both of them out, and we learn to move our lead knee, for me this is my left knee, down towards the ground as I start my swing. And as I do that, my trail knee, my right knee, begins to straighten. The changing of the knee flex gives me around 30 to 40 degrees of turn in my knees. That's mirrored a little higher up in my hips, which at this point closer to 45 degrees of turn. And now as I continue on up, keep changing my knee flex and completing my backswing, I'm able to complete that 90 degrees of shoulder turn that I was looking for. Reason number 2 is to turn the hips, but on a tilted angle. So as the knees change flex and the left knee goes down, the right knee straightens and moves up, it allows my pelvis to turn on this tilted angle, which mirrored up above allows my shoulders to turn on a tilted angle. Tilting really does define the game of golf. We bend forward at setup, the golf ball's down on the ground, we play with clubs that are angled like so. We need to move our body and turn our body on a tilted angle. So tilting is essential for good golf. It's one of the key differentiators of movement between the best golfers and the poorest golfers is the amount they tilt to the ground. We've seen that in our studies here at GOLFTEC using optimotion and the Swing True study. The best players tilt more, the poorest players tilt less. They're more level to the ground. If you look at my knees in this example, there's no daylight between them. They haven't changed flex. My hips are level, my shoulders pretty level to the ground as well. That would be incorrect. So changing your knee flex in the backswing allows your hips to turn, and it allows them to turn on a tilted angle, meaning I keep my inclination to the ground. My shoulders are tilted, my hips are tilted, my knees have changed flex. You now see this daylight between my legs, which is desirable. That's the second reason you'd want to change your knee flex in the backswing. Reason number 3 would be that changing the knee flex facilitates a more inward hand path in the golf swing. So we play golf on this tilted angle that we've described many times before, meaning we don't swing the club vertically or straight up and down. There's an arc or a tilted angle to this golf swing. Changing my knee flex, allowing my lead knee to flex and my trail leg to straighten, turns my hips as we've already discussed, and creates that inward hand path that's so desirable to hit the ball far, hit the ball straight, and to control the curve of your golf ball. So that inward hand path is reason number 3 why you'd want to change your knee flex. If I didn't change my knee flex, if I kept my legs static or stiff or stable and I tried to swing back, I'd reach a point very early on where I can't keep going around me. My knees aren't changing flex, my hips are retarded, they can't turn, my shoulders get limited in their mobility and range of motion. So when my knees don't change flex, my hand path now starts to get more vertical. And more vertical is the starting of the slicing move, the over-the-top destructive move that many of you have in your swing. It's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get the hands far enough around you if you don't change your knee flex. But if I change my knee flex, you'll see there's much more range of motion. It's much easier for me to get my hands and club working around me, conforming to this club path and hand path grid that I've drawn on the ground here using the T-claw. Changing my knee flex allows me to conform to the correct geometry of the golf swing. Reason number 4 would be to reduce your sway, in the sense that the poorest golfers, when they don't change their knee flex and they keep their lower body static in the backswing, often see this swaying motion of the pelvis, even the upper body moving away from the target. We know from all of the previous videos how much that messes up your ability to not only swing fast and hit the ball far, but to control the contact. It starts moving the low point of the swing around, it particularly moves it back behind the ball. So keeping your legs flexed often leads to more swaying. And I think there's a reason for that, is people understand at some level they're supposed to not sway. They're supposed to stay centered more or less when they make a backswing, meaning there's no sway away from the target, there's no too much sway towards the target. They know they're supposed to stay relatively centered. And they often interpret that and misinterpret that as to stay still. So they freeze. They decide not to move anything. And then this lower body locks up. There's no ability for them to rotate and turn. And you begin to see all of the problems that we've already started to describe previously. How the golfers turning is restricted, how they start to lift their hands, they start to swing over the top. So not swaying is not about not moving. You have to move to stay still. You just have to know how to move correctly to stay still. Moving correctly would be defined as the left knee flexing, the right knee straightening as I make my backswing, to keep my hips centered, to keep my head centered from this front view on the camera. And from this down the line view as I make this move, my head's staying stable, I'm maintaining this angle, this spine angle to the ground. That's reason number 4 to change your knee flex, so that you can turn without swaying. We reduce the sways. Changing my knee flex helps me to stay more centered. That's going to help me to make more predictable, consistent contact, and that's going to make me a better golfer. And the 5th and final reason I'll give you today for changing your knee flex in the backswing is it relieves stress on the body. The knee joints are flexion extension joints, meaning they're designed to flex and extend, just like your elbow. They're bending and straightening joints. Not doing that to them puts more stress on them and that part of your body. And when you restrict the movement in one area of your body, you then need to recruit more movement, more motion from another, often pushing it beyond the natural range of motion that it wants to go. And this is where pain and injury starts to be discovered by you. When you start to feel niggles in your body through different amounts of playing golf, you start to notice that things aren't quite as comfortable as they used to be. The pain comes from a lack of range of motion, or allowing yourself to move through a freedom of motion that your body's designed to do. So once again, changing your knee flex is a perfectly natural thing to do. That's the way this joint's designed, to flex and to extend. Flex and extend. That's what it's doing in the backswing. This right knee's extending, the front knee, the lead knee is flexing. As we've already said, that lets me turn my hips, it lets me turn them on a tilted angle, it allows my hands to move more around me, it allows me to stay more centered or reduce my sways, and I'm doing all of these things and getting all of these benefits, plus I'm taking the stress and strain off my body, and that's going to encourage pain-free golf, which means playing golf for longer, which I think most of us can agree is a good thing. That one felt pretty good. Knee flex changing, fairly easy, effortless golf swing. That's gone 180 meters. That's thick end of 200 yards with a 6-iron. I'm not swinging super fast or putting loads of effort in. I'm just using my body as it's designed to move freely throughout that range of motion that, as I say, it's designed to do. I'm going to move on to some drills now that you can do. I know many of you are reaching winter time in the northern hemisphere. Many of you watching these videos are requesting for me drills that you can do at home, inside while it's cold and snow on the ground, outside. I'm going to share with you some ideas on how to do this. These are some of the exercises and drills I share with my students that I work with online via the Skillist app. And if you want to learn more about online lessons this winter and find out how you can access that via the Skillist app, I'll put some information down in the description below. So a great way to feel this knee flex change is just to take your palms of your hands. You can lose the golf club for this one. It makes it a great drill for you to do inside. Just place them on the fronts of your legs, on the thighs here. Just bent forwards in your golf posture with your feet turned out, as I said right at the beginning of the video today. Turn your feet out, place your hands on your legs. And then to start the backswing movement, you're going to slide your lead hand, this is one with the glove on here. I'm going to move the glove down towards my lead knee. Okay, I'm going to slide the hand down towards the lead knee. And to touch my lead knee and keep the contact there, I have to start changing the flex of my knees, just like I would do in the golf swing. It's exactly what I'm looking for. As I slide my left hand down my leg, my right hand is going to slide up towards my right hip, my trail hip, and I start to get a really nice stretch here down the side of my body, the right side of my body. As I'm tilting my body to the ground, as I'm tilting to the left, I get this nice stretch just up the right side of my body. So that's a great way to just start to learn the basic mechanics of the knee flex change in the backswing. Once you've got a feel for the basic movement, we can grab a club and we're going to place it across our chest or our shoulders here. You may have seen some drills very similar to this in the past. Continue to have your golf posture, so you're bent forwards. I'm just going to bring a ball out for visual purposes here. We're not going to hit this at the moment. We're going to place the ball down where it would be, and you'll see why in just a second. So I place the club across my chest, across my upper arms, bent forward, feet turned out. Same movement. Flex the lead knee, straighten the trail knee. And you'll see how the shaft here turns on this tilted angle, just like my hips are, just like my knees are on this tilted angle. And you want to point the shaft of this golf club somewhere that would be just outside of the golf ball. Sometimes this is described as pointing the shaft down at the ball. That would be too much tilt in most cases, and you would know that you've tilted too much because your head would actually go down like this. So the head goes down, the pitch of the shaft here is too vertical. I want to point that shaft just outside the ball. That helps me to maintain my head position from this down the line view. If I do that correctly, my head's going to stay very, very still from the face-on view as well. So too much tilting would be down towards the ground. Not enough tilting would be raising up, and the shaft would be almost level to the ground. So it's a really nice exercise that you can do with a ball on the ground just as a guide. Try to point that shaft just outside of the ball. So you hold that position there. And if you can do this in front of a mirror, even more benefit. Or if you can film yourself, hugely beneficial to understand the amounts of this feeling that you need in order to center your turn from the front view and to maintain the correct tilt from that down the line view. And if done correctly, this swing should become very easy and effortless. There's no stress or strain on my body, moving the hands and club around me, maintaining my centered spine from this front view, and maintaining my inclination to the ground from a down the line view. Change the knee flex in the backswing. You get all those benefits and more for free. So lots of reasons, 5 specifically, 5 reasons why you should be changing your knee flex in the backswing, and some drills that you can do at home or indoors, even at the driving range if you can get outside, that can really help you to build better backswing structure. So the takeaway from this video is that you need to learn to move correctly in order to stay still, in the sense that you don't want to be swaying around and moving around too much in the golf swing. Don't just fix and lock yourself in place. Understand how the knees facilitate a number of the other movements and motions within the golf swing that happen above them. Take on board the lessons from today and benefit from those 5 key improvements very, very quickly. I mentioned in the video the Skillist app, which is the platform I use to deliver all of my online golf lessons. If you're interested in taking any online golf instruction with me, you can go down into the description and click the link and it will take you to my Skillist profile. I've taught hundreds of lessons online, people all over the world with outstanding results. So if you're interested in improving your golf that little bit more and taking it to the next level, I'll be happy to hear from you and happy to help you improve your golf. Guys, thanks for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel and you want more golf related content, hit that subscribe button now. You'll see many more videos coming your way soon. And speaking of more videos, now that you know you're supposed to change your knee flex on the backswing and all the benefits that come from that, we now need to know how to transition from the top of the backswing into the downswing. This video right here is going to discuss the magic move that every good golfer knows about how to transition from backswing to downswing and master that transition.